Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel office. This is the place where I just hang out with my fridge, my PlayStation controller, and some pretty awesome cup of tea mats, but I'm not using that one today. I'm using another one the other side of the room that I've showed you before. It's one of those days where I just need a few cups of tea to get going. It's been a very, very long week. You guys know I've been in Lille, in France this week for Chelsea winning in the Champions League, which is something that another club that we're about to mention in Premier League predictions, week number 8, didn't quite manage at home this week against Bayern Munich. Obviously, I would say that Bayern are slightly better than Lille, but, you know, it is what it is. I've been away. It's been a fun week, but it's been a bit of a draining, tiresome week. So I'm going to go and play a bit of tennis once I've recorded this video. So unfortunately, at the time of me recording this, I've not actually been able to count up the points from you guys' predictions from last week, but here on the screen right now are the winners from this week, and here are the total tables so far. And last week was a pretty good week. I actually completely nailed it myself last week. I don't know if I'm going to get better than this season. The only actual match result that I didn't get right last week was Man United. I thought they would lose to Arsenal and they somehow managed to get a draw in what was one of the worst Premier League adverts for a top game I think I've ever seen. It was awful. Both Man United and Arsenal. I'm not worried actually about either of those teams. Maybe Arsenal a little bit, but Man United, we're going to go into their fixture. It's the last one in this video today away at Newcastle, but 15 points for Mr. Benson last week, speaking about myself in third person. But yeah, that was pretty good. This week we've got another tasty round of fixtures. It is the final round of fixtures before the second international break of the season. The first one, I was like, yeah, all right, cool. I'm looking forward to seeing England again. I've not really had time to settle into the season, so go on then, we'll give you the September one without moaning about it. For goodness sake, it's like being stopped by the cops. They let you go, and then at the next roundabout, they stop you again. For what, mate? You reckon I was down about 10 points from the distance that we've just met each other 30 seconds ago? No! Oh, internationals. I mean, yes, it's England, and we can qualify for Euro 2020, almost said 2016 then, that would have been weird. It's been a long week. But just as we're getting into things with Chelsea, just as we start to get into a good bit of form, there's another 2-week break. But it is what it is. We're going to move on from that. Let's look forward to what we've got this weekend. Match week number 8. The first game is Brighton versus Tottenham. We mentioned Spurs beaten 7-2 at home. 7-2 at home. Let's not pretend anymore, Tottenham fans, that there isn't a massive problem at your club. There was a rumour going around this week that isn't true, that said that Jan Vertonghen was sleeping with Eriksen's wife. I mean, it's got to the point now at Spurs where rumours like that are circling because they don't want to point the finger at Pochettino, perhaps. I don't know. I think that maybe his time at Tottenham is done. Their top players are going to want to leave because it's not good what's going on there right now. You got to a Champions League final last season, but the trophy cabinet is still relatively empty. And you've got players like Harry Kane, you've got players like Christian Eriksen, Son. These players are good enough to be playing for almost any team in the world. And if Tottenham carry on the way they're going, they're not going to stay there much longer. There's no point because they're not going to win anything. Spurs are in a big round of trouble right now, but Brighton, I watched them at Chelsea last weekend, I really wasn't impressed. We don't know where the goals are going to come from for Brighton, and last week against Chelsea, that was even more evident. So Spurs, they're in desperate need of a win. They're a club in a bit of a moment, and it's a bad moment. And I think that this kind of game against Brighton is a must-win for both teams. But I think Spurs, and I say this a lot, and I keep getting it wrong, but that's okay. I don't mind getting my Spurs predictions wrong. I do think Spurs will come good this weekend. I've gone with Brighton 0, Tottenham Hotspur 2. Same amount of goals they scored against Bayern Munich. So the second fixture is Burnley versus Everton. Everton were beaten last week by Manchester City. I don't think they'd have expected to get anything from the game. I think that Everton fans have obviously got expectations, but expectations, they kind of fall out the window when it comes to Manchester City. City were good, they got the win. Everton, it's another team under a lot of pressure right now. Burnley are looking decent again. Sean Dyche has got them back in some kind of rhythm, and I'm not entirely sure how this one is going to go. However, I do need to give a prediction, and I'm going to say Burnley 1, Everton 2. I'm not confident about that whatsoever. So Liverpool versus Leicester is one of the best fixtures of the weekend, but it's on 3 o'clock on Saturday, and we've got some games on Sunday that I think fit into the 3 o'clocks. We'd like to see Liverpool versus Leicester live, please, but no, we don't. We have to see it at 3 o'clock and then watch the highlights afterwards. Liverpool, 7 games played, 7 victories. They almost did what they normally do to themselves in the game against RB Salzburg in the Champions League, giving away a 3-goal lead. Salzburg get it back, but no. Liverpool, despite not playing well, they're finding out ways to grind out results. And we've always known this ever since I've been alive in the Premier League. The team that wins the league are the team who, when they're not playing well, somehow get 3 points. We're not just, oh, we'll scrape a draw there, we'll take that forward. They scrape a win when they're not playing very well. And I think for the last couple of weeks, including at Chelsea, I don't think Liverpool have been anywhere near their best. And I think that if they carry on playing in this kind of way, I do think they'll come unstuck. And with Brendan Rodgers going and taking his Leicester team, who are in fine form, Jamie Vardy surpasses Cristiano Ronaldo in Premier League goals last weekend. Incredible. They're going to go to Liverpool with all of the confidence in the world. And this could really be a test for Liverpool. However, what I do think is going to happen is I think Liverpool will rise up to the occasion. I do think they're going to win the game 2-1, but I think they're going to need to up the level in order to beat Leicester. If they carry on playing the way they did in that towards the end of the game against Salzburg, and if they play like they did last week against Sheffield United, Leicester could go there and beat them. That's a genuine worry, I think, for Liverpool right now, but they've got that little cushion at the top of the table. But I think they're going to come good, and I think they'll put in a performance and beat Leicester 2-1. So the next game is Norwich versus Aston Villa. Two newly promoted clubs, two teams that, again, are in need of a win. They're kind of looking over their shoulders, relegation zones, not where they want to be. I think both teams have shown signs that they can play some good enough football, and they're good enough footballing sides in order to avoid the drop. Results are the only real thing that matters in football. I say this every single week. And Norwich at Carrow Road, I think they're going to get the result here, 2-1 to the home side. So Watford versus Sheffield United is match number 5. Watford propping up the rest of the Premier League right now. They can't buy a win for love nor money in the Premier League. This game at home to Sheffield United really does pose an opportunity for them to be able to get that. However, as we know with Sheffield United, they're very resolute. Last week against Liverpool, I think that they were quite unlucky to lose the game. I don't think Liverpool were that good last week. I thought that, Sheffield United, they could have created some more opportunities, maybe scored a goal, but they didn't. So they lost the game. So they're still looking to continue picking up points to make sure that they're never involved really in that relegation scrap. Whereas Watford, they're really in a scrap right now. They can't buy a win, and I don't think they're going to win this one either. I think the only time I've really been impressed with Watford this season is the second half comeback at Vicarage Road against Arsenal. But Sheffield United are very resolute. They don't concede that many goals. Going to go with a 1-1 draw. Sit bang on the fence. Match number 6 is West Ham versus Crystal Palace. This is going to be a good game, I think. West Ham has started to impress me. I think that this season, there's been a lot of optimism amongst West Ham fans, and I see them winning this game against Palace as well. I think Palace have been pretty good at home. They're looking like they always do under Roy Hodgson. Very well drilled, very well organised, difficult to beat. However, I think the West Ham's creative players are going to come good in this fixture. It's going to be a bubbly atmosphere at the Olympic Stadium. I can't believe I've just said a bubbly atmosphere. You can tell I've had not much sleep this week. But 3-1 to West Ham United in the 6th game on Saturday. So moving into Sunday, let's go to the Emirates. Arsenal versus Bournemouth. Arsenal got a good win against Standard Liège in Europe's second best competition, the Europa League, on Thursday night. Bournemouth, they do impress me. I'm not going to lie. Bournemouth are a good side. However, Arsenal, I think that the result against Man United just wasn't good enough. Man United, they're not a very good team. I'm sorry. Defensively, they're okay. Going forward, it's literally a blunt pencil. Man United, it's awful. So Arsenal will be disappointed that they didn't go there and try at least a bit harder to get the result there at United. So back at the Emirates, good win against Standard Liège in the Europa League. Take that momentum forward. I see Arsenal breezing past Bournemouth in this one, 2-0. Manchester City versus Wolves. I quite like Wolves. I'm not going to lie. I don't support them. Don't get any silly ideas. But I quite like Wolves and I want them to do well. So when I saw that they got that late winner against Besiktas in Turkey, against Karius in goal, I was quite happy for Wolves. They've had a difficult start to the season. The Europa League is always something that it's very hard to get used to it. It often affects the league form, which we've seen so far this season for Wolves, having had to go through the early preliminary rounds of the Europa League competition. They got the result. They also got the win last weekend as well. So they're going to be filled with confidence now. I feel as though they'll see the last 2 results as a turning point. What do they then get when they turn around the corner? Manchester City, the team that, when they want to, can score 8. And I do expect Manchester City to win this one. They've got another win in the Champions League this week. Going to say Man City 3, Wolves 1. Not for the want of trying for Wolves, but It's Man City. Come on. So here we go then. Southampton versus Chelsea. A trip down to the south coast. At the point of me talking right now, I'm not actually going to the game this weekend, sadly, which I am a little bit sad about. I was in the virtual waiting room looking to get tickets, and as is normally the case, didn't get much luck, got thrown out the VWR, couldn't get any tickets, and StubHub want about €70 each. So I might just stay at home and watch it on the flipping sofa and do a live stream for you lot, which I would love to go to the game. I love to go to the games. I sometimes do pay above and beyond face value ticket price just to get to the game, but I'm a little bit knackered this week, so I might not go. I might just sit and watch at home and do a stream for you guys, but if I can go, I will. But €70 per ticket, it's just a bit like, come on. But I guess that's what you get. It's the luck of the draw sometimes. Southampton, let's talk about the opposition for a moment. Been times this season where I've been very impressed. However, the results, they've only got 7 points. That won't be good enough for Ralph Hasenhüttl. They're going to be difficult to beat, and I don't think Chelsea are going to go there and get themselves an easy day. I think that we've got 3 wins on the spin, and we're starting to look pretty good now. But yet again, as I said in the 6 Things We Learned video yesterday from the result against Lille, set pieces. And Southampton have got some big players. It could cause us some issues, and I do think Southampton will score a goal, but Chelsea always look like we're going to score a goal as well, or maybe even a couple. So Southampton 1, Chelsea 2, Frank Lampard makes it 4 wins in a row. Great start to October, moving in to the international break. 2-1 Chelsea, which leads us into Newcastle versus Manchester United. I know that the majority of you guys are Chelsea fans. There will be a match preview out tomorrow. Newcastle versus United. Now, this is a must win game for Man United. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, since the win away at Paris Saint-Germain, Man United's Premier League form would have got them relegated in 4 of the last 24 seasons, I think the stat is, and they'd have finished 17th on like 7, 8 or 9 other occasions during those time periods. So United are in a huge downward spiral. Since beating Chelsea 4-0, everyone gave Chelsea stick. We were meant to be the embarrassment of the Premier League, but they go to AZ Alkmaar and don't even register a shot on target. I mean, come on. United were awful against Arsenal as well. I thought Scott McTominay was very good. But I really think the issue at Man United is there's 2 things. Paul Pogba, and I don't think he's doing very good for that squad. I really don't. I think that as an influence, he's supposed to be the biggest and best player at Manchester United. I thought that's what he wanted, but he doesn't influence that team anywhere near enough. There were bright sparks from him against Arsenal, but it doesn't look like he's putting in the effort. It really doesn't. The second thing is strikers. Marcus Rashford. Tammy Abraham is what Man United fans thought Rashford was going to be. Tammy Abraham is already that guy. Mason Greenwood, I mean, Man United putting the pressure on a 17-year-old. Really? This is Manchester United. This is the team that I remember growing up being frightened of Ruud van Nistelrooy, Carlos Tevez, Berbatov, Wayne Rooney, Ronaldo. What has happened to them? Newcastle, on the other hand, were absolutely humiliated last week against Leicester. And I think that their captain, Jamal Lascelles, came out with a very good interview after that game saying that all the players need to hold themselves accountable for what was a very feeble performance, something that I like to say often, the word feeble. Man United are really not very good. And I've said this a lot this season. United fans have criticised me because somehow still getting draws here and there. They're picking up 1-0 wins against Leicester, which yet again, just paper over the cracks at United. I think that we're not far away from seeing Solskjaer gone, and what was initially a rebuild at Man United now, I think it's just a time for United fans to accept that since Alex Ferguson, nothing has quite gone the way it was supposed to go. You've had Van Gaal, you've had Mourinho, David Moyes, now Solskjaer. This is what you've got to expect now, unfortunately. And despite them being a massive club, and I do respect that, it's not going well. And the result this weekend at Newcastle, I'm going to go with a home win. I'm going to go Newcastle 2, Man United 1. I just don't see where the goals are coming from United. Newcastle, even though they're not in the best form themselves, I think they might smell blood in this fixture. It's on TV on a Sunday afternoon. The Geordies will get behind them in St James's Park, and I think they might do enough to get the win. 2-1 Newcastle. That is my game week 8 predictions. Of course, the series goes on holiday a little bit now because this is the final week before yet another international break, so There'll be no video of this series next week. The following week there will be, because we'll be predicting the next weekend's game. So it's only really 1 week that you guys miss out, but you get both ends of the spectrum. So it's like 10 days or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, as always, let me know your thoughts on my predictions in the comments down below. What do you think are the main talking points this week? Are we seriously looking at a couple of managers being maybe 1 or 2 games away from the sack or walking out of their clubs? I'm talking about Marco Silva, Pochettino, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Man United. Let me know your thoughts on those comments in the comment section down below. And there's also a little tweet link in the description down below, which means that you can click on that, respond to that tweet and enter your predictions to be involved for game week number 9's video. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I will see you all tomorrow with a FIFA video and a Chelsea match preview. Catch you later. Bye-bye.